Ready, set, go.
Hello, and welcome to another album reaction. Or if you're new here, welcome to a album reaction. Hopefully you're familiar with the concept. If not, I listen to music. You watch me react to the music. Well, you'll also be listening to the music because I'm going to include that in the editing because I'm good at what I do. And then I give my thoughts on the music. Sometimes I pause the music to give my thoughts, and you're not going to hear the whole song in this video. I just pick the highlight parts. Sometimes I pick the parts that make me have things to say. They give me things to say. The music doesn't do that. But I think of things to say while listening to the music, and sometimes I stop the music to say the things that I have to say. Sometimes I don't stop the music. Sometimes I'll just say a thing and then leave it at that. That's how we're doing it. And then I also read the lyrics and see what sense we can make of those. That's what we do here. Welcome. Today we are listening to an album that you guys have been asking for. At least a handful of y'all have been asking for me to react to the new album by Ms. Poppy. The album is called Empty Hands. I've been following Poppy for a while. If you're a regular on the channel, you would know that. I like Poppy. I've listened to a lot of her stuff. I got into Poppy's music when I Disagree came out. That remains my favorite album of hers so far. I listened to her previous album, which was Negative Spaces. Yes, some good old modern metal. This is another album produced in part by Jordan Fish, formerly of Bring Me the Horizon. And if this album is anything like Negative Spaces, then we'll probably be hearing some of that Horizon flavor. So we'll see. I'm still dying for the sort of thematic cohesion and like weirdness that we got into in I Disagree. But I'm always happy to listen to some poppy metal. I was very excited when End of You came out, featuring with the collab between Poppy, Courtney LaPlante of Spirit Box, and Amy Lee of Evanescence. That was, oh my goodness, what a banger. So I'm excited to get back into some poppy metal. Is basically what I've taken a long time to say, and also have said those words twice. We have a total of 13 tracks, adding up to 39 minutes. We got a couple of interlude length tracks in here. There's 2 tracks that are under a minute long, and then there's one that's under 2 minutes long, and the rest of them are around your 3 to 4 minute length. So feels pretty standard for the course. Which should be pretty laid back metal listening experience is what I'm looking forward to. So let's get started with track numero uno, Public Domain. I am curious as to whether Poppy would allow her stuff to go public domain. I guess at a certain point, it's not going to be up to her. But that's going to be an interesting time in history to live in, where the music that we're listening to now that I'm getting copyright struck for, or not struck, but I'm getting demonetized videos for in this day and age, becomes public domain. We're going okay. I'm actually hearing a bit of I Disagree immediately. We got a little bit of a sort of industrial metal triplet thing going on here. I'm immediately intrigued. I'm immediately excited. I should listen to the rest of the song. Ooh, those toms. Okay. Bit of chugging. There's a lot of things going on. Okay. Ooh. Oh, this is very weird. I like it. Ooh. Some reverse. Ooh. What is that effect on your voice there, miss? Madam Poppy, what are they doing on your voice? I like it. I like it a lot. One of the reasons that I want this to be a relaxed metal listening experience is, well, there was a cat on my lap up until now. So this doesn't have to be relaxed at all. Now we can freaking throw ass. I'm not gonna, because that's not really a thing that I do, but I could if I wanted to from here on out. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Going right back into second verse. Ooh. Halftime. Okay. Hello. Okay. The second verse was happening before I could really have a moment to pause things. Chorus, not gonna say underwhelming, but nothing too terribly fancy about it. But I'm really enjoying the overall sound of this song. I'm not assuming that this is gonna be the overall sound of the album yet, but if this is what the album ends up sounding like for the rest of the time, I'm not gonna complain at all. I wasn't gonna complain regardless, because I don't want to complain about getting a new Poppy album. The Lord doth provideth. Okay, all right, a little bit of an extra chorus. Ooh, I like these fills. What are we doing for the bridge? All right, we're building. We're doing a building bridge.
The biting dogs have got the itch.
Oh.
The future is a seething bitch.
Oh, is it?
Maybe
Is she?
I'll be used by it.
Oh,
So maybe,
okay.
just maybe.
Oh, he getting loud? Okay. No, we're keeping. Ooh, she's doing a cool thing where the like instruments, the band for the most part, is keeping it steady, and then she's using like whatever delay and like static and feedback she's like building that up to function as the build, whereas the actual instrumentation is like staying pretty steady. That's a cool way to build things. Nice. All right. Close things out with some halftime. Nice. Oh, forget. Ooh, I like what the guitar's doing there. Little cutout, very good. Okay. Okay. All right, Poppy. I see you. All right. This is fun. I'm looking forward to this. Is this Poppy getting a little Extrospective. It's the opposite of introspective. Of like instead of looking within, she's looking outward, making some outward commentary, which she's been known to do. Yeah, this seems to be a bit of a hey, anyone else noticed that things are kind of fucked lately? Anyone else notice that? Starting with verse 1. Oh, I beg to differ, lie to get to something bigger. What if there's nothing better than this? It's all in your condition, fuck your ignorant opinions, maybe you ain't got a reason to live. Yeah, it's sort of calling for a, hey, there's gotta be something more to what we've been doing. You know? You're getting trapped in a cave of your own little ignorant opinions, and they're actually depriving you of happiness, of purpose. They're just keeping you spinning in your own sort of delusional opinions that are not actually doing you any good. Moving into the pre-chorus. Can you bottle it? Will you sell it for food? Would you sleep with it? Tell me who's using who. Isn't it peculiar how the chatter fails to offer any solace in the light of the truth? When the cards are down, when push comes to shove and other idioms, what good are your ignorant opinions actually going to do for you? Because they're not going to comfort you when reality is actually coming to call. When the things that you have sort of explained for yourself in your mind as a simplified view of the world, when those don't actually match up what is actively happening to you, doing the chatting about it isn't gonna do you much good. Moving into the chorus. Ooh, don't need to know you. I've seen you twice today. Tell me, is no one ever even safe? A sycophant will kill your will. Pacify her, it gives me chills. Where do we even begin? Where do we begin to fix the mess that you began? Seeing you twice today, I do wonder, maybe it's just because of where my brain's at, but when I read I've seen you twice today in the context of what we've already read, my brain did go to Trump and the fact that he's been elected twice. I don't need to know you to know you. Like, we don't need to. Sometimes there are people in public spaces, in the public domain, you might say, that you don't need to know personally in order to get a sense of their personal values or what they're like. You know, not to say that you know exactly what they're like in a one-on-one conversation to talk to, but if you're a public figure, you are putting some version of yourself out there, and that public version of yourself, while not the same as your private self, is going to have a lot of parallels. There's just only so much you can help with that. A sycophant. I need to look up what that word means. Sycophant, a person who acts obsequiously towards someone important in order to gain an advantage. Why would you put a word like obsequiously into your dictionary definition? Merriam-Webster, my boy. Servile, self-seeking flatterer. Ah, an ass kisser, you might say. Okay, a sycophant will kill your will. Okay, so having people around that are only ever gonna say yes to what you want to do and what you're saying is going to degrade any real desire to change things or make an impact in the world, I think is how I'm going to read that. Which is true. Pacify her, it gives me chills. Where do we begin to fix the mess that you began? Maybe we'll find out later in the song. Maybe Poppy has an answer to that question. Maybe she doesn't. Verse 2. I'm watching from the ledges, keep a distance on the fences where the masochists and nihilists are. See them salivating while their faces lose their shape, and all that's real is getting way too bizarre. Oh, I see. So is she keeping a distance by being on the fence? Or is she keeping a distance from the fences? She's watching. Oh, she's watching from a ledge, not a fence, because she's on a side. She's already on a side. She's watching a fence and keeping her distance from it. She's basically making an indictment on the people that are like still on the fence about things. All these people that are sort of keeping themselves uncommitted to his side are doing themselves a disservice. They either enjoy having a bad time because it's a bad time for both sides, or they simply don't care, hence the nihilist part, while their faces lose their shape. In other words, that could be a reference to, like, you know, degradation of health. It could also just mean that being on the fence slowly degrades your sense of who you are. You know, if you don't stand for anything, then that's good. That makes up a lot of who you are as a person, like your values and your beliefs. If you don't really have those, because you either want yourself to suffer or you don't think that life has meaning, both of those are going to not be healthy in the long run. And all that's real is getting way too bizarre. Yeah, basically observing as reality is just getting steadily and steadily more absurd and outrageous every time you think that we've gotten to a sort of terminal velocity of crazy, stupid shit that's happening. They invent a new way to make things even weirder and worse, seems like. The bridge. The biting dogs have got the itch. The future is a seething bitch. Maybe I'll be used by it. So maybe, just maybe, I've seen your face and face again in the horrors of the present tense. Believe only half of what you see and none of what they said. Okay, I'm trying to figure out sort of what perspective Poppy's taking in observing things. Biting dog. So the future line, I think, is her basically being like, if we're going to move forward, we got to be angry about things. We got to care about things enough to get a little outraged by how things are going. Maybe that anger, maybe she can use that anger or be used by that anger to create positive change in the world. Spite is not necessarily a great fuel source long term, but it works pretty good in a pinch if needs be. Believe only half of what you see and none of what they said. That's a complicated thing. I'm not sure if she's saying that sincerely or if she's having that be the point of the opposing side. Because believing only half of what you see and none of what they said is a weird stance to take. Because on one hand, yeah, there is a good amount of, like, there's a lot of deception and subterfuge happening in the world. And you do need to be critically thinking and, you know, not take everything at face value. But also sometimes people do say correct things, even if those correct things are coming out of the mouth of people you don't like. So I don't know about the none of what they said. There's a lot going on. Poppy has never been one to, like, she's not as explicit of an artist in what she's trying to say. She does tend to leave things a little open-ended, kind of leaves things up to the listener for whatever she wants to say. And I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let's keep moving to track 2, Bruised Sky. How do you bruise the sky? I guess if you was the degradation of the ozone layer a bruise in the sky? I've heard that's mostly been fixed. I've heard we've managed to return the ozone layer to a state that it used to be before we were concerned about the ozone layer, which is nice. Good job, us.
There's no hope to come for you.
Ooh.
There's no one left to get close to too long. Stuck to my
That's
chest.
hope. This is not.
Keep it under my breath.
Okay. Okay, it is in 4. Alright. We're getting a little crunchy in this one. Ooh. Okay. Oh, nice. Nice little squeal in there. That's good. Ooh, we're streaming. Ooh, I like that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. The horizon has been brought once again. This was one of my points of concern with this album. One of my criticisms of Negative Spaces was that a lot of the choruses and production elements would feel a little bit samey, a little bit not low effort, but just like I feel like there are some more interesting rhythmic choices and little production things that we heard in Public Domain. I really like that, what they were doing with that. But even the chorus in Public Domain felt like a pared down version of what they've been doing everywhere else. I understand that there's this desire to like make sure that the chorus is audible, like that you hear all the words, but it's still as much of a song as the rest of the track is. Bring back interesting choruses is what I'm saying. You can't keep dumbing down the chorus just so that you can hear the words. I can hear the words just fine with some more interesting instrumentals. Ooh, ooh, that's fun. Ooh, that's like what they did in End of You. All right. Ooh. Drums are going hard in this one, though. Alright, back into our lovely little halftime breakdown. Love that. Getting a little boomy in this one. Ooh, nice little offbeat entrance there. I like that. Ooh. Okay, ending things with a bang. I like that. I don't know what it is about the last couple Poppy albums, couple including this one and the previous one. They gotta bring the horizon for the first few tracks, and then once they get out of their system, things might be able to get a little bit more interesting in the back half, maybe. Is how that's gonna go. I like the music, I'm enjoying it, but it just feels like there's a little something extra that there could be. Things could be a little bit spicier. I really like the instrumentals in between the chorus and the verse. I just need a little bit something more during the vocal bits. Just because I'm hearing vocals doesn't mean that the guitars have to just go into steady strumming. That's my soapbox. Is the guitars can still be doing cool shit while you're singing. Maybe that's not what modern metal producers are thinking. I think this album lyrically, so far I'm only 2 tracks in, but lyrically this feels like talking about shit's crazy out here is getting bad. That's the vibe that I'm getting already. Intro, there's no hope to come for you. There's no one left to get close to. Too long stuck in my chest. Can't keep it under my breath. So things have gotten so bad, Poppy's got to say something about it. Verse 1, the only way to cope is to see you as a disease. Insisting to resolve, resisting every prophecy. Get it off of me. Which is pretty vague so far. I'm not sure what she's referring to as you. Resisting every prophecy, get it off of me. So maybe sort of creating a little bit of foreshadowing of like, right now we're deciding that the best way to go is just stay as far away from this person or the group of people as possible, all the while acknowledging that this is also maybe how we end up back in the same problem. Pre-chorus, and the moon is awake tonight. I'm collecting the names under the bruised sky. Is the moon the bruise? That's cool. Oh. Annotation says, a bruised sky often describes a dramatic twilight or storm-laden sky with deep shades of purples, blues, reds, and yellows, mimicking the colors of a skin bruise. Creating a dreary or dark atmosphere or environment. In this case, it creates an apocalyptic type environment and visuals to the song. Okay, that's what you mean by bruised sky, like purple, like black and blue kind of bruises. Moving into the chorus, I know the ending. It keeps playing out in my head and running around again. Don't try to tell me it's as good as it's gonna get. The feeling won't leave till darkness takes me. Don't forsake me. That, I don't know what that could be about. I'm gonna leave the chorus for now, just to see if verse 2 can provide any extra context here. Verse 2, how do I numb myself when God is preying on the weak? Instill the fear to fall, but it'll never work on me. Question everything in the wake, felt my whole world starting to shake, the cradle starts to break, and the red pulls over me and turns to white. So verse 2 sort of communicates this, like, need to cope. This need to cope during these times when God is preying on the weak. Probably not literally God, probably this, referring to sort of the insurgents of like religious conservatism preying on the weak, sort of trying to deconstruct what things she thought was true and what wasn't. Cradle starts to break. Everything that she learned as a kid is breaking down. Red pulls over me and turns to white. So yeah, that sort of despair that you can often feel when you're having to deconstruct a lot of the things that you thought were true but are not serving you in times like these. Which then, going back to the chorus kind of stands to me as this section where she's like, I know how this goes because I've done it before, running around again. Don't try to tell me it's as good as it's gonna get. Feeling won't lead till darkness takes me. So maybe she's trying to resist this desire to just kind of fall into despair, to just kind of like close up and isolate herself. The darkness takes her kind of deal. She knows that that's not going to help, but she doesn't feel like there are any better answers. Outro, bathing in the light, fend for your final form. The feeling you obscured will force you now to learn. Bathing in the light, there's nothing left to hide, then never say a word under the bruised sky. I like that section. Fend for your final form is a really cool line. Not just as sort of a vague sort of anime reference. Fight for your right to survive and to see better times come about and to see the fullest version of yourself come to be. Make sure that you are fighting to have the time to become the best version of yourself. All of these feelings that you've been kind of pushing off because they're scary feelings, those are going to be the things that help you learn, that kind of shape you into who you want to be. I'm not sure what never say a word under the bruised sky is. Maybe that's just like less talk and more walk kind of deal. Like, we don't need to talk about it. Let's just get through this. Let's keep going to track 3, Guardian. The track after this one, it looks like an interlude track, so we might end Guardian and go straight into Constantly Nowhere, or we might save Constantly Nowhere for after and then go straight into the track after Constantly Nowhere. We'll see how it goes. For now, we're guarding.
Ephemeral or eternal, where is the divide? They try to hold you to spiral down.
Alright, we're chugging. I like a chugging rhythm. Okay.
And cast you back to the hell I used to know.
Alright. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Nice little interlude here. I like this. Very heavy. But I don't know. Again, I'm only 3 tracks in, but all these choruses just don't really feel like they have the sauce, you know? There's something to them. Like, I'm still bopping my head. It's still poppy metal. But there's just something to it that I know she's got the capacity to make more interesting choices. And I have this sneaking worry that I don't know who she's working with that's making more simplistic choices, or if these are her songwriting choices. It's just not the same. There's just something a little bit less to it. Okay. See, I like. That's what I'm talking about. The little riff, the little bam bam, or the little like dun 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 dun. That kind of stuff. You can throw that into a verse while she's singing, and it sounds great. It's a cool little underscore that keeps you engaged, keeps you paying attention. I love that shit. More of this. Okay. Ooh, we're dropping out in the chorus. All right. All right. We got a band build now. Nice. Ooh, nice little rolling snare build. I like that. Are we doing anything special for the final chorus? No. Okay. Okay, that seems to end there. So we'll save Constantly Nowhere for after. There was something that happened in that last chorus that I only know about because of the lyrics that I'm reading. In the last chorus, and it's only in the last chorus, after the line, "I will be there, I'll be your guardian," there's in brackets a little like sort of in the background, she also just sings "tonight," which doesn't really need to be there, but it's kind of a sample of what I think I've been complaining about so far with this album. Is I feel like Poppy's just made her metal albums a little bit more radio friendly, which is not really what you need to do with metal. No one's listening to the radio to listen to metal. I feel like we're sort of at the end of the era where you need to make stuff radio friendly. Like everyone's music tastes are allowed to be so much more niche with streaming. Obviously, I've got my problems with music streaming platforms in their own way, but the sort of age of the music industry that we're in now, allows you to just kind of make your stuff a little bit weirder and not worry about like making things a little bit more poppy, like throwing in the word tonight. We don't need to know that she's gonna be our guardian tonight. You could have left that chorus be. It just kind of like takes me out of it. I don't like complaining about music, especially when I'm already bopping my head to it, but it's just, it feels phoned in, is what I'm kind of feeling so far. We're 25% of the album in or so, and so far things feel a little bit phoned in, and that makes me sad. It's just like, I know she can do better. If making this music is the most creatively and artistically stimulating music for her to make right now, that's great. Good for her. All the best. But it's just missing something that I don't know why it couldn't have continued from I disagree. Let's take a look at some of these lyrics. Verse 1. Ephemeral or eternal, where's the divide? They try to hold you down till you spiral down, or they try to hold you till you spiral down. They circle, unravel, trying to devise a plan to drain you to your peril, then cast you back to the hell I used to know. Then chorus, when all the gods lose faith, the city is laid to waste, I will be there, I'll be your guardian. You're in my every breath, I'll give you all that I have left, but I'll be there, I'll be your guardian. So that's kind of what this song is about, sort of one of Poppy's best friend songs. Sort of I will fight for you kind of songs. Not the first time she's written one. It's fun to write a metal song where it's like, you got a friend in me, but metal. Especially when you have lines like ephemeral or eternal, where is the divide? And talking about how this friend is, going through a hard time. There are people that are causing her causing this friend difficulty, causing them difficulty. It feels like they're unraveling, having a bit of a spiral, and then casting back to the hell that Poppy used to know. So Poppy is able to connect with this person over this shared experience, and is able to, having come out of it, support her friend in that, which is nice. I like that sentiment. Verse 2, liars hang in shallow, hiding from the light, and all the cowards count the hours down. There's crimson on the arrows, the modest dress in white, and all the villains taunt and whispers, remind you of a hell you used to know. Just sort of an extra verse of, yeah, there are people that might be out to get you, you got your liars and your cowards just waiting for your downfall, dressing modest but poison on the arrows, taunting and whispers, gossiping. Does that remind you of anything that you would know? Then the bridge, so keep your panicked eyes on me, because this time we have is all we need to fight eternally. Oh, and all the gods lose faith, the city's laid to waste, I'll be there, I'll be your guardian, you're in my every breath, I'll give you all that I have left, and I'll be the one, I won't leave you now. And then there's the chorus, and then the outro, through the wreck we leave it behind, I'll be your guardian. Just kind of being like, hey, I know things are scary. I get it, I've been there. Just keep looking at me, just pay attention to me. All we've got to do is, all we need is time. We just gotta get through it. Just gotta keep moving one day to the next. And when the aftermath fades out, when the dust settles, it'll be you and me, which is nice. Not a whole lot else to it, I think. It's just nice. Let's keep going. I'm really looking for things to kind of kick up a notch, personally. So let's see if this 2-track combo has got what I'm looking for. We're going to go from Constantly Nowhere straight into Unravel.
Every call was close, and now I know.
Okay.
I am constantly nowhere.
All right, we're in 3.
On the room. I
These are some, I like these harmonies.
My shoulders, how did I know? There's more to unravel.
Ooh. Okay, and going into Unravel. Oh, and we're reversing.
If every weight is
Okay.
forever,
Ooh, a little bit of a bass synth coming in. All right. I'm listening, I'm paying attention.
Eyes can't read that room. They run me like a spectacle.
Ooh, ooh. Some break beats. Okay. This is very much sort of following the, the formerly of Bring Me the Horizon aesthetic. This is definitely, this feels like a little bit of a Jordan Fish choice, but I like it. This is a little bit extra. This is not necessarily standard to what we've been hearing so far. It's not surprising, but it is a little bit new. So I'm intrigued. Oh. Okay.
Silence in the shadows. You lift me up to pull me right back down again. Watch me unravel.
All right.
Tangled in the thoughts of a tide. Silence in
I like the drums in this one.
lift me up to tear me back down.
Nice. Okay, and then back into the pop. I think this is kind of what I'm talking about when I talk about like the more interesting choices that I know that Poppy can make is like she made her start with the like weird electro pop and had her whole like persona, her character. They got really big on the internet and it was very strange. And then the same weird polished pop persona just suddenly released a metal album that also contained weird elements of electro pop and weird production choices. And that was what felt so exciting to me about Poppy getting into metal, is it felt like a new voice, like a new way to approach the genre had entered. And I think that's why I've been a little bit sad by how this album has been so far, is that new voice seems to have kind of been diluted a little bit. Even now, like right now, this song sounds a lot like, I think it's Vicious Cycle. No, it was Vital. Vital from the previous album. Like that chorus sounds exactly like Vital. Maybe not in the same, not the exact same, but it's very, very similar melodically. So hopefully there's some more stuff in store for me at the rest of the song. But what I'm trying to say is there's something here. There's something here that I hadn't heard up until this point. But I'm still looking for a little bit more. Alright, okay, nice. Ooh, I like the piano in the back. I do like that hit. That's very satisfying. Ooh, there's the screaming. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, I like this breakdown. Okay. All right. I like that one. I think so far, that one in Public Domain have been my favorites at this point. Lyrically, this is about the Poppy haters, I think, and how Poppy sometimes has a hard time fending them off, or has a hard time sort of not getting messed with. Verse 1, if every wait is forever, is it worth all the trouble it's caused? My vacant eyes can't read the room. They run me like a spectacle. Pre-chorus, I cut to the point. I'm switching gears. I'm pulling a knee-jerk first response. Now I'm feeling full. I didn't contain the feeling at all. Then the chorus, watch me unravel, tangled in the thorns of a doubt. Silencing the shadows, you lift me up to pull me right back down again. Watch me unravel, tangled in the thorns of a doubt, silencing the shadows, lift me up. Yeah, and then that repeats. Verse 2 is interesting. Cursing the light, hailing the moon, falling for what I dreamed to be true, scratching my throat, painting me blue, hold me like I want you to. So maybe this is sort of a plea for approval and sort of the relationship that Poppy might have with her audience and those that might not count themselves as her audience, but, observe her in the metal space, and perhaps I'm one of those. This is one of those things where I do feel a little confronted by these lyrics. I don't want to count myself a Poppy hater. Like I said, I've been a fan of her for a little bit now. There's a reason that you guys keep requesting me listening to her stuff, is because you can tell that I enjoy her music, and I do. I don't think I've been I've spent this long of a video less than impressed by an album as I have with this one. And I don't want that to make it sound like I'm, suddenly discounting Poppy. It takes a long time and a lot of work to make an album. I'm still enjoying myself listening to this music, but because I'm sitting here and making a video about it and trying to have thoughts on it, what's coming to mind is it's not what I listen to Poppy for. And Poppy doesn't need to care about that in the least. If she watched this video and didn't say a thing, that's fine. She doesn't need to change anything on my account. Obviously, I'm just some guy. But I think it can be helpful to use albums like these, and I like to use my videos as a way to, not to say that this music is bad, but to say that these are some of the ways that music can be better, and the ways that sometimes external forces make music less than what it is, or can create weaker choices in art than they potentially could have. I don't think that Poppy has become a less interesting artist. Maybe she's in a space where these feel like the best choices to make. I think it comes back to this feeling of feeling phoned in. And that's an easy space to get into, especially when you're already like an accomplished musician or already an accomplished artist. Is like, this is her 7th album. This is the point for any artist where it would be really, really difficult not to fall into maybe phoning it in on a few tracks. And I don't mean that to sound condescending or patronizing. It's just something that can happen. And that's the impression that I kind of get from this album. The breakdown was fun. That was another little taste, another little sample of what I enjoy from Poppy's stuff. But it wasn't enough to make me be like, okay, this is a turning point. I like the bridge lyrics and the breakdown. Closing my eyes, I fell through the sky. Our madness is what keeps us tied together. Circle entwined, revel in spite. Eternally you're tied. Then into the breakdown, eternally you're tied into me. Oh, I'd cut you free, but eternally you're tied into me. Maybe this is about Poppy and her audience. Our madness is what keeps us tied together, you know? Making metal music does attract a certain kind of person that has their own shit going on. Not to say that you have to have some mental health issues to enjoy metal, but a lot of us that enjoy metal just happen to have some mental stuff going on, it turns out. Yeah, she's like, I'd cut you free, but eternally you're tied to me. Like, we're kind of in this together. Like, you listen to my music for comfort, I make this music as comfort. So we're kind of stuck in this room together, which is why I try to be a little on the not necessarily charitable, but like empathetic, compassionate side when I listen to an album from an artist that I like, and the album is less than what I expect, which I'm holding that off as my final decree. We are still not even halfway through the album. So I am holding on hope because Poppy is a talented artist. She makes good stuff. And I believe that we could just have a backloaded album here, which is not the worst thing. Let's keep moving. Track 6, Dying to Forget. I guess dying would do the trick if you're trying to forget things, but it's a little bit of a baby with the bathwater situation. What are we dying to forget? Oh! Okay! Alright. Ooh! I like those hits. Alright. We haven't had a heavy, screamy, high-tempo song so far, so we were due for this. This is good. This is nice. Ooh. Alright. Ooh, hello. Alright. Alright. Okay. Alright. Some weird timing there, but I hate to interrupt. It was another freaking radio-friendly chorus. You know, relatively radio-friendly, but like, let's get weird in the chorus. Can we please get weird in the chorus at some point? I want to get weird in the chorus. She's had so many weird choruses before. I want to hear a weird chorus. Where did they go? Ooh, okay. Ooh, that was nasty. Alright, I like that. Wow. I think this doesn't really fit. I don't know. Ooh, okay. Okay. What are we doing here? Okay. Okay. That's fun. Are we doing anything else, or are we just keeping this? Ooh. Okay. That's kind of fun. I like what the guitars are doing there. That's fun. Okay. Okay. She keeps giving me these little snippets of what I'm looking for, and I understand that, again, she's not obligated to give me what I'm sitting down and hoping for. She's going to give me the album that she wrote. We didn't need the singing. We didn't need the melodic element there. It took me out of it. I don't like that I'm getting grumpy. I don't like getting grumpy when I'm listening to music. It's not a bad album so far, but it's fine. And when I'm listening to an artist that I really, really enjoy and have been very heavily inspired by and influenced by, to hear an album from them that is just kind of fine, I think is where I get a little bit bummed out. Verse 1. Is there a problem you refuse to face? No mercy left. You can't be saved. You could never be me for a day. We don't bleed the same. I never wanted, never needed you. Pre-chorus, and as the curtain falls, I'll bang your head up against the wall, cause you never risked it all. Stood for nothing, so you fell for everything. You don't deserve my sympathy. It's all yours to take the grief and misery. This is one for the haters. This is a heavy one for the haters. The way she's wording some of this shit, she's not pulling any punches, which I respect. I do like. I like her lyrics a lot. I'm gonna say that. I really like her lyric work in her music. That includes this album so far. That included Negative Spaces. She's a queen with the pen. Chorus. When the guilt follows you out, my idle hands will let you drown. My patience wielded down. Born a quitter, so you weren't worth saving till the final light goes out. And they ask, where are you now? Shame don't make a sound. Now you're trying while I'm dying to forget. Gotcha. Oh, this might be about an X. It's a bit of a vague reference. Okay, so the line "My idle hands will let you drown" does contain the titles of songs by one of Poppy's ex-partners, who is in their own metal band, I believe. So maybe this is a fuck you to my ex kind of song, which honestly, metal is a great genre to write those. I don't know what if that's true, then oh boy, that person is catching some real harsh words here. I'll hold off on that take for now. Let's just say that there's someone, at least one person, that Poppy is not happy with. And when that person gets what's coming to them, Poppy's idle hands will let them drown. Verse 2, for a heretic, you got a lot to say, but you're the motherfucker in my way. Drain out the poison, now tell me what remains. Rot in your piss in your shallow grave. Jesus Christ. That's a metal lyric right there, is what that is. I'll watch your kingdom fall, I'll cut the brakes so your car can't stop, because you never risked it all. Stood for nothing, so you fell for everything. I resent the fact you're living. Now the hate will keep me warm. It was all in vain for the cost of pain. Ooh! I guess, so one of the nice things about metal, as is the case with pretty much most genres of music, is that each genre kind of is able to focus on certain elements of the human experience and certain emotional experiences. Metal is a great vessel to contain anger, rage, outrage, whether that's political, personal, what have you. It can also be a great outlet for fear. Like if you're really scared about something, you can scream your head off about it in a metal song. It's great. It can also be a great song for defiance. Resistance themes can be found in metal. in this case, this is a classic like modern metal song where you are just ripping off of someone, not ripping off as in like plagiarism, but just laying into them, just using the language of the genre to take the purest, most elevated form of whatever you're feeling and let it all out. Even if it sounds a little bit harsher than how you actually feel, you're taking the purest version of that emotion, putting it on the page, and then recording it. And that's great. With a good example being the outro, I want both eyes and your liar tongue don't get to decide, I'll end your fucking life. What a move to just end a song with I'll kill you. That's great. I don't think Poppy's actually going to kill anyone, but it's a real powerful move to just end your song with that. Let's keep going. Track 7, we're in the sort of at the end of the front half, technically the middle, with Time Will Tell. That's what I've been telling myself so far in this album as to how I'm going to feel about it. Time will tell.
It's never gonna leave you now.
Okay.
Time will tell.
Okay.
If violence follows you too.
Okay. Alright. Ooh. Yeah, this is a little bit. Okay. The squeal. Very nice. Ooh. Okay. We got the bass synth back. I like it. Ooh, I like that. One compliment that I will pay to both this album and Negative Spaces. Hopefully, I can't remember if I said it in the Negative Spaces video, but it bears saying again. The music that she's made for these albums, very danceable metal, and I like that. It's very boppy. Which I think is a result of it being a little bit more radio friendly. But it is a side effect that I do appreciate about that. This is very danceable metal. I disagree. While being my favorite album, not all of it is particularly danceable. So she's got me there. Ooh, nice little offbeat hit there. Okay, rhyming relate with amalgamate. I'm also liking what the drummer's been doing in this album. I like filling in the spaces with the tom rolls. Yeah. Every now and then that bass synth will like pop back in a little bit more clearly. That's a really nice spot there. Okay. Guitar solo. What are we gonna hear from this guitar solo? Alright, not much. Okay, alright, this is what we're doing for the bridge. Ooh, sudden double time. I like that. And then back into half. That's fun. Okay, cool. Gonna be honest, for most of that was another Poppy song. There were little elements in there that I liked. I liked what the drums were doing. I liked the bass synth visiting every now and then, coming in, fading back out. That was cool. But my eyes are starting to glaze over a little bit. The choruses have been the same Poppy choruses so far. Things aren't weird enough. Maybe, and that is a personal bias. That is a personal taste thing. That's a subjective criticism, not an objective one. But that is just sort of how I'm feeling right now. This seems to be a good old personal growth song. Verse 1, posture sustained. I undo what the stitches have done. Tell me, has it all been worth the pain? Why do all the crooks keep calling me home? Into the pre-chorus, I open my lungs, rid all the smoke of what never was. I've become elastic, forced to change. I know all the ire will never stop if you let it in. Okay, so she's moving on from some of the stuff that she used to sort of take up space in. Moving on from some of the mindsets that she used to have, the posture, undoing what the stitches have done, undoing whatever patterns she might have taken on from certain traumas. She's working on that. But a lot of the time, the crooks keep calling her home, as in like these negative patterns, negative behaviors are still kind of calling to her. She's still feeling tempted to go back into her old ways. So she's basically like becoming very vigilant, making sure that the changes that she is making in herself are in themselves elastic and subject to further change. Just because you make a single change in yourself doesn't mean that you're done changing, right? She's become elastic. Then the chorus, it's never going to leave you now, because time will tell if violence follows you to hell. And time will tell, pulling the veil of who you are, which is sort of her that's sort of her reason for putting in the work to make all this change. Is basically the living by the sword will cause you to die by the sword kind of situation of if you don't break free of these sort of retaliatory and petty and reactionary patterns, then they will define you after enough time. Time will tell. I like one of the pre-choruses here. I'm flooded with haste. I'm cursing your name to the wind as it was. Why does every loser think they're brave? I like that line. I know all the ire will never stop if you let it in. Why does every loser think they're brave? I'm reading that as like, why does every person that doesn't want to change who they are think that's a good thing? Like, why do you think you're brave for not growing from your experiences? People are always bragging about how their experiences never changed them, never made them reconsider things. Have you considered that maybe learning from your experiences is a good thing? Ever considered that? Bridge, locked eyes on you, lay you to waste. Ignorance is a plague. All hope is lost on you. You let it in. You allowed that violence and that pettiness to control you. And it's not going to go well from there. Cool. Musically, I'm getting a little, not bored, but I've heard the same things already. So I'm willing to keep moving. Track number 8, titled Eat the Hate. I'm glad that rhymes. Okay, we're back. We're back in the punk sound a little bit. I like it. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Ooh, this is fun. This is different. We got something different. I've heard it before because this is what her album... This is like Flux. This sounds like Flux, which was a really fun album. She got into a little bit of the punk metal sound in that one, and she's brought it back for a less than 2-minute song, which is fair. A lot of the time, a lot of punk songs tend to be on the shorter side, so that makes sense. But, it's something new. It's something different from what we've heard for the last 7 tracks, and I'm so happy to hear it. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Oh, wow. jeez.
and hiding from my cure.
Okay.
What?
What was that? Wow. Okay. Ooh, and then into the double time. Oh, that's fun. Nice. That's another favorite. Good stuff. I really hope we hear more of that in the album. This is another one for the haters, if that wasn't clear already. We're eating the hate. We slurp it up, yum, yum, yum. In fact, in the first two, it says, eat the hate, it makes me come. Use your tongue to clean it up. Anonymous and hiding from my gun. She's really, that's an image that's in your and my head now. Both of us have to deal with hearing those words. I have to deal with reading them. We go off, you can go and live your life now. Verse 1, we got eat the hate and drink their blood. You're dying as a never was. As opposed to a has been. This is a never was. It's when, not if, I catch you fucking up. Eat the hate, because I'm the judge. God will throw an uppercut. You're celibate, because no one wants to fuck. This is just, she was just in a different space when she wrote this one. Maybe a similar space to Dying to Forget, but this was just a different energy than what the rest of the album has had, and it was so badly needed. That was so much fun. The chorus is, "I'll eat the hate because you'll complain either way, so eat the hate," which is a good attitude to have. Eat the hate. If Poppy sees this and registers my criticisms as hate, she's free to do that. She can eat it up. Hope it makes her stronger. I'm not going to complain either way. I've not been complaining 100% of the time, just sometimes. And when I do complain, she can have it as a nice little dish, nice little snack. Bridge. It's always going to come to this: a petty nerd and a hypocrite. The world's still gonna turn around if you're here or there or dead or found. Yeah, the people that don't like your stuff are only going to be here for so long. Like, hopefully these are not people that are directly interacting with you. I get the sense that this song is about people on the internet who, for the most part, you don't have to talk to at all. You don't have to interact with them, even in the least bit. She doesn't have to interact with me in the least bit. I'm not a hater, but she's under no obligation to have any kind of response to what I've said so far. Good on you, Poppy, for acknowledging that she simply does not have to care for the haters. Let's keep moving. I'm a little sad that was such a short song, because I could have used more of that. But let's keep going to track 9, The Wait. What are we waiting for?
I haven't the time.
That's a little okay.
Can't contain myself.
Okay, this is
The
interesting.
lack of concern that's on my mind is a privilege. Often the fate of rage.
Okay.
Your day is yours, not mine.
Okay.
Careers are raised, commonplace. Do it so as you always do.
We're back in the weird, like, industrial space.
Or a persistent break the fall.
Ooh. Okay, I like what the drums are doing, but it is. Ooh. Okay, back into electronic. Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Watch the freedom
like this rhythmic scheme.
If it's really what you like.
I like that little break of drums in a room.
Let's keep getting louder.
Ooh, and the arpeggio in the back is quite nice. That's a nice little fill out there.
All the places forever worth the wait.
Alright, breakdown in the bridge. Alright. More of this sort of like breakbeat style thing. That's cool. Ooh, that was a cool little transition. I like that. A little bit of a weird outro. Okay. Oh, does that one continue into the... Ooh, that one continues into the next track. Oh, that's cool. Oh, we love some continuity. I was not really looking at these lyrics much to see what was going on here. But let's take a look. First one, I haven't the time and I can't contain myself. The lack of concern that's on my mind is a privilege. Often a fit of rage either way. Your day is yours, not mine. Co-misery is commonplace, doing so as you always do. This could all be gone in a moment, or will persisting break the fall? Into the chorus. In the back of your head, do the sirens keep getting louder? Does the love feel unrest? Fill the void that was left by a lover. Darling, is it the time or the place? Is forever worth the wait? Okay, there are a couple of ways to read these lyrics. One is sort of a relationship that's falling apart, and Poppy is weighing whether to sort of call things off. Like, is she deciding, do we need to cut things off here because things are not going well? Or do we just keep going and ignore the warning sign? That's one reading of it. Could also be another song addressing sort of an ignorant audience of being like, hey, things are getting worse out here. How long are you going to keep ignoring these warning signs? And I'm not going to say one or the other is more correct. I'm just saying you can read these lyrics in a couple of different ways, and if there's one that feels more correct to you, then great. There's also the bridge, which is feel the break in the power lines, staying in, not going outside, spin the clock just to waste my time. I'm the who I've been my entire life. Not going outside was something that she talked about quite a bit in I Disagree. So maybe this is sort of a reference to like I'm falling back on that desire to sort of lock myself back up inside. The chorus is a little bit more confrontational. So it's hard to say if she's acknowledging herself as like an active part of this song, or if it's more about another person than it is about her. This is where I think I need to account for the fact that sometimes lyrics are not written to be specifically about a certain thing and are maybe simply written to fit the vibe of the song, which is not really how I write songs. That's not really how I function as a songwriter, but I know that that is a way that certain people go about it. I might just leave it at those 2 possible reads of the song and keep moving. I don't really know what else to do with it. Let's keep going. Track 10, If We're Following the Light. It was never established whether we were or not, but let's find out what to do if we are. Ooh. More electronic. Okay. Ooh, that's weird grainy bass. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, this is cool. I like this. This is different. This is giving me a little bit more of a proggy feel. I like it. Ooh, I like what that bass is doing. Ooh. All right. Screaming pre-chorus. Ooh. Okay. What's the chorus sound like? Okay. So, if you've watched my Sleep Token videos, there was a point in both the Take Me Back to Eden and even in Arcadia videos where I mentioned a standard Sleep Token breakdown, where I sort of talk about how I was looking for them to kind of figure out some new rhythmic choices. I now propose the concept of your standard poppy chorus, because I've heard some version of this chorus at least 5 times in this album. It's repetitive because each like chorus is trying to be like catchy in its own way, but in doing so, I don't remember how any of these choruses are going to go. I don't remember the melodies for most of these choruses. And it's really, really frustrating. It just feels like settling. It just feels like settling for an easy choice. I don't really know what else to say about it. Okay. And I've mentioned Sleep Token. A lot of these, like, pop and hip-hop sort of esque bits have reminded me a little bit of Sleep Token. Not to say that they're the only other ones that do it, but... Okay. All right. Nice. That's cool. Putting a little bit more space into that breakdown. That's cool. All right. Ooh. This is a cool way to end the song. That was neat, but otherwise, we gotta come up with something a little different here, guys. We gotta wake me up a little bit, please. Wake me up inside. So far, I can't wake up. I don't have a whole lot to say. That was definitely one of the more generic tracks on the album. I don't like that I feel like I'm having to muscle through this album so far. We're far enough in. We've only got like 2 full tracks here that I can say that It's been a bit of a trudge. Not a trudge. That's being a little bit harsh, but it's just not been a strong showing. It feels phoned in, and I think we're far enough into things that I can kind of say that. We got two and a half tracks ish to bring things back, but for now, let's take a look at these lyrics. Verse 1, the haze, the waves, seen it all through watering eyes. I'm holding on a warm gun. I can't cope with needing you so bad. The words all taste so wrong. Okay, so this feels like post-breakup song, maybe, so far. Pre-chorus, my hands are shaking cold. I can't be held to comment. Watch the self-righteous fold before they ever started. We get it right. Follow the light. In spite of everything that we could lose. Into the chorus. I'll cross the world to get to you. I'll hold the waves back from the pressure. The proof I need is only you. Against the odds I couldn't measure. This is maybe not a post-breakup song, but more just like been separated from a person that Poppy relies on very heavily. Can't really, say much about what's happening. Maybe there's been some sort of a tragedy and she doesn't have her support systems with her, so she doesn't really have the mental space to sort of say anything succinct about what's happening. The self-righteous or just also don't really have anything to say before they even start. But if it's possible, she will cross the world to get to them, hold the waves back from whatever pressure. The proof I need is only you is a fun little rearrangement of a line from one of my favorite Paramore songs. You might know the one. Verse 2 into the breakdown. I want to slip into you, drip all your tears on me. Hear the sirens call, I can feel the knife inside my lungs. And I don't know how long it's been, I don't endlessly suffer. No, I favor you. So yeah, just wanting to comfort and be comforted. Maybe this is about grieving alone or mourning alone and wanting to just be with another person that would know what they're going through and is going through the same thing because she's feeling the pain and it's hard to handle that alone. That seems to be that's the vibe I'm getting. It's very, very, a very relatable feeling. It is hard to go through hard things alone, which is a little ironic because a lot of the time when you're going through a hard time in your life, it's very natural to want to sort of retreat into yourself, but that will often just kind of make things harder. Cool. Good lyrics. Forgettable instrumentals, if I'm being entirely frank. There's always something good to be gleaned from a Poppy song. Let's keep going. We got a little bit of an interlude track called Blink. And then into track 12, Ribs.
What I had loved the most, now I've outgrown. If you were meant for me, then I'll let go. It was a blink and now it's over.
Production is a little unsettling. I like it. Going straight into Ribs. Ooh, more of the break beats. Okay. All right. Sure. Okay. I like that beat. Alright, nice, a little bit. Okay. still a little bit more up tempo than what the past choruses have been. It's still feeling a little bit samey, but there's enough of a tempo difference that I'm enjoying this. All right. I like alternating between the screaming and the singing. That's nice. Ooh, that's nice. Okay.
If I close my eyes, I can feel you.
Nice. Cool. And then we end it with the... How are we ending it, actually? Got the break beats. Are we just following this? We got another 30 seconds here. Okay. Alright. Cool. Ooh, a little bit of phone sounds. That's neat. Alright. Alright. Okay, that also leads into... Okay, I like that we've got the continuity in the back part of this album. That's a cool choice. On one hand, that wasn't a terribly hard departure from what we've been hearing so far. I liked the higher tempo, as I said. I will also say, when it comes to the like electronic elements and the like breakbeats, that is a cool development for Poppy as an artist that does, try to blend between genres. That was one of the most exciting things about her getting into metal, is the fact that she did not start out as a metal artist. A lot of the time you find a lot of like metalcore bands that like start out in hard metal and then steadily get more and more poppy. She started out in pop, took a hard ride into metal, and now it does feel like that hard ride into metal is starting to return a little bit back to pop, in this more sort of radio-friendly metal that as I've been describing it. So maybe if we give it a couple more albums or so, and maybe she'll, pull another weird detour, or, come back with a slightly weirder album again. Until then, this works fine. It works fine. I'll take it. I'll complain a little bit, but I enjoy it. I'm bopping my head. There's a lot of visual information that you're probably seeing, communicating that I am enjoying myself. I do like this music. I just think it can be better. Life is good. It can be better. Let's see what we've got with these lyrics. We've got... This is the other thing that I noticed, is when it comes to the sort of like radio-friendly rock, also has been showing itself in a lot of the song structures. It's been a lot of verse 1, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, your ABBA structure. And it would be nice for Poppy to show that she doesn't need to do that. I know that she doesn't need to do it, but it would be nice to see more examples of that. Verse 1, can I hold your love between my ribs while you weigh me down to something thin? When I get back up feeble and frail, then I won't see you as the same again. You were oh so quiet when I needed you, was clamoring for something true. So she's comparing herself to like a paperweight in this, weigh me down to something thin. As in, can you like ground me? Like, get back up, people in frail. I won't see you as the same again. So yeah, maybe there's this person that sort of was this quiet but comforting, stabilizing presence in her life. And now she's wondering if this is something that she can rely on long term going into the chorus. Now if I close my eyes, I can feel you vanish into blinding light to what I can't recognize. Now I splinter and divide, but go on breathing. Leave me to my own device. Time was all I need to see it. So yeah, she's hoping that this person, this presence in her life can stick around, but she's not sure if this is a stable thing for her to rely on. She sees them vanish into blinding lights to what I can't recognize, that feels almost like referencing like stepping onto a stage. Like, you get the blinding lights the moment you step on stage, can be a very destabilizing thing. And now I splinter and divide, but go on breathing. Like, I'm carrying on whether you're there or not, but I need time will tell, basically, whether you're going to be there for me as well. Verse 2, before I quit, I got to vent, but the sorrow draws lines across my chest. Ooh, pale in my lips, my chin so high it broke my neck, and I can never see you as the same again. I ignore the chatter of my mind, I sink into the scene to hide. All the color is a mess. Is there a means? Is there an end to this? So it makes me wonder if she's like creating this imagery of like drowning. Pale in my lips as in like she's sort of freezing up, chin so high to keep her head above water, and trying to keep her chin so high that it's hurting her, breaking her neck, and that drowning is affecting how she sees these stabilizing presences in her life. Before I quit, I got to vent. I don't know what that's referring to. Before I quit, maybe she took a break for a while and she got to vent. She's been going through so much other stuff that she can't really see clearly right now. So she's trying to like get some clarity. She's trying to like recede into the background to hide and take some attention off of herself. But she's still not able to put together like what everything is supposed to be about. Seems very aimless. Bridge, you drift further by the day. You took a twist of a memory that we made, ribbed with loneliness and shame. Ooh, that's an interesting take on ribs. All to my own dismay. So maybe this is like also dealing with the absence of a person. Maybe this person was stabilizing presence and then left. And now even those memories are ribbed with loneliness and shame. That's a really good line. I like that. So she can't, even that memory she can no longer use as a comfort. So she's still going on breathing. Time was all she needed to see it. So she'll be okay, but it's been hard adjusting to life without this person. That's real sad, but I'm glad she's still breathing. You gotta breathe if you're gonna be screaming like that. It's a necessary part of the process. We're on the last track, the titular track. Let's hear about these empty hands. Ooh. That's a strong entrance. Ooh. Oh. Okay. All right. Ooh. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting to laugh in this album reaction. Poppy doesn't always make. She doesn't necessarily always put her little sense of humor into her music, but sometimes it comes through with that little clearing of the throat. That was awesome. That was so good. I'm so glad she put that in. That's what I'm talking about. these little extra little pieces of personality that make the music undeniably hers. So much of these instrumentals and choruses haven't felt like they've had like a signature poppy touch to them. Some of them have been here and there, but that shit, that's what I'm talking about. Make it undeniably poppy is what I'm saying. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. Nice. Okay. Okay. Nice. Oh, that's good. This is what I'm looking for, baby. Okay. All right. We're clearing out now. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I like the shots. I like those hits. Ooh. I love those shots. They come out of nowhere. Oh! Oh my goodness, the band's going nuts. Ooh. Oh, that was an interesting little transition there. Ooh, oh, we're slowing it right down. Ooh. Ooh, oh my. What was that? That's the end of the album. That's why. What? Poppy Whip, you've been holding on to that for the whole goddamn album? That you made me wait till the last track to pull out that shit? That's what I've been freaking waiting for. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get mad at a good song. I'm not gonna get mad when I suddenly hear my favorite song on the album. I'm not gonna do that. But god damn it. That was awesome. I'm not even usually a huge fan of like metal songs that are mostly screaming. But that was just such a return to what I've been waiting and wanting to hear on this album. There was so much good stuff in there, from the throat clearing at the beginning there to all of those breakdowns. Now, this is one of the reasons that I like to pay attention to the lyrics, is because sometimes in songs like these, it's a little bit hard to hear what they're saying in the moment. So let's sit down. I'm already sat down. I've been sat for a couple hours now. Let's all sit down. If you haven't been sitting down, sit down for this last track as we go through the lyrics of Empty Hands. Chorus. You can't be spared from hell's routine. Beneath my feet into the ground in life, you wallow with indifference. In death, you shall not make a sound. This entire album, she's been confronting those that simply do not make strong choices, which is a little ironic in an album that, in my view, hasn't had a lot of strong, unique choices. But that's just my take on things. Verse 1, downward they fall in the ash. Breathe it in till it blackens their lungs. The curse, the marks they adorn. May it all get worse until your dying day. you will return with empty hands if you return at all. Then the breakdown: can't carry all you've stolen from me, got taken in vain, so may the torment never stop. Spent your time feeling bad for yourself and never really made a strong choice. Maybe you're criticizing me for making strong choices, but sometimes they didn't always work out. But you got nothing to say to me because you haven't done anything interesting with yourself. You got the gnashing of teeth. You got the fiddling of insanity. What's become of you is lurking under me. Look where complaining got you. Look where complaining got you. Sitting in my bedroom in my basement, complaining that Poppy's music isn't weird enough while she's off touring with Evanescence and playing with Baby Metal and Spirit Box. I'm the one sitting in my room in my basement, which is very apropos. I can't be spared from hell's routine. May the Reaper greet you suddenly. Don't want that, but okay. Empty hands, can't take it with you. You've got empty hands because all the stuff that you tried to grab in this life that was material and didn't mean anything, you can't take it with you when you're dead. And that's the end of Empty Hands by Poppy. I gave this album a lot of shit. Not a lot of shit, but some shit. More shit than I have given most Poppy's stuff. And that's mostly because I believe in her and I really like her stuff. I have a lot of respect for Poppy as an artist. And sometimes it has felt in the last couple albums like she's been holding out on us, or maybe she just needs a different producer. Maybe if you want your albums to sound like Poppy and not sound like Bring Me the Horizon, maybe you should be working with someone that doesn't make your music sound like Bring Me the Horizon. If you like Bring Me the Horizon, that's entirely within your rights. They got some bangers. But I was sitting down today to listen to some Poppy, not Bring Me the Horizon. And for the last couple albums, I feel like I've maybe been a little bit cheated out of that. Good album. No more or less than that. Good album, not great, good. That's gonna be where I end the video here. If you enjoyed this video, if you liked my thoughts, I hope so. I always end up walking very carefully and treading very carefully because I had a lot of people asking me to listen to this album, probably because at least some of you like this album. And so that is always present in my mind, that I am listening to music that other people really like. That's how a lot of these album reaction videos have gotten the attention that they have gotten and has gotten my channel to where it's gotten, is that people want me to listen to music that they enjoy. So when I find myself not super enthusiastic or not as enthusiastic as I was hoping to be, I feel like I need to be a little bit careful and not be too hypercritical or hypocritical when I have critiques. Hopefully you like my thoughts. If you have your own thoughts, if you've got a defense for this album that you think is worth me reading, let me know. I would love to have reasons to like this album more than I did. So put your thoughts in the comments below. If you have suggestions for other albums, Poppy or otherwise, for me to listen to, let me know in the comments. I have listened to most of her pop albums. If there are any other albums that you want me to listen to, let me know in the comments. I'll get to them eventually. If you liked the video, that's great. There's a button for that. Would love it if you clicked it. Helps the channel out gets these videos to more people's eyes and ears. If you have not subscribed, now's a great time to do that. I do a lot of different things on this channel. If I wanted to do things a little bit more professionally, I'd probably have more than one channel, but I don't. So on this one channel, you can find this every now and then, these album reactions. I do a lot of gaming. Most of what I do around here, I do a lot of stuff with my friends. I've started doing more vlogs and video essay style stuff recently. If any of that sounds interesting to you, it would help me a lot to subscribe, and it also helps you if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing. If you are so wowed by my stuff and you enjoy my content so much that you think I should make money from it, there's a way to make that happen, which is down in my Fourth Wall site, where you can get merch, you can become a member, you can make donations if that's more your thing. Anything and everything that you do over there is hugely appreciated and will be acknowledged in these album reaction videos, if and when it happens. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it. So thank you again, and I'll see you later.